is a seasoned performer, and somebody who I'm sure you're going to enjoy. So please welcome to the stage, Nygel Harrot.
A seasoned performer makes it sound like a smell of salt and vinegar or something. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening. And what a packed show we've got for you this evening. We've got a packed show. Unfortunately, there are a couple of acts who couldn't make it. We were going to have the Bermuda Symphony, but the triangle player's gone missing. They don't get any better, madam. I'm sorry. We were going to have, with it being Christmas, we were going to have Sir Cliff Richard. Sir Cliff Richard on this very stage, but he's not a shadow of his former self. Last one. And we were going to have Cyril. Cyril, the short-sighted sword swallower, but he couldn't see the point. Yeah, fair enough. But never mind who we were going to have. Let's really enjoy who we've got. Me. Hey. Oh, forgive me. Oh no, I'm sorry. I have not introduced myself properly yet, have I? I can see in the twinkle in that lady's eye, she's thinking, who is he? What is he? Well, my name is Nigel G. Harrot, and I'm a comedian. I like saying what I am at the beginning of the act, instead of you guessing at the end. And I do love performing. In fact, standing here this evening, ladies and gentlemen, standing here this evening, I can actually feel the pull of the stage. Either that or these underpants have shrunk again. And they shouldn't have done, you know. I got them from Next, which on reflection was a bad idea. Well, having underwear with Next written across it gives totally the wrong impression. But I would like to now read you an excerpt from my Victorian melodrama, if I may. Hold on. Yeah. So here we are, an excerpt from my Victorian melodrama. Now, yes, Victorians. Now here we are. Now, Victorians are called Victorians because of Queen Victoria, yes? Yes, and the Edwardians were called the Edwardians because of Thingy Edward. So that means when the Prince of Wales takes over, we'll all be Charlies. I like that idea, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, Victorian times. I shall set the scene first. Victorian times. Imagine, if you would, ladies and gentlemen, imagine what it would be like living in Victorian times, watching television by gaslight. In Victorian times, antiques were brand new. If you were rich, you travelled everywhere by hansom cab. If you were poor, you had to use an ugly one. Queen Victoria, our imperial ruler, so called because she was only 12 inches high. Now, she was our first British monarch to be fitted with casters, and she loved polo so much, she was nicknamed our Mint Imperial. Victorian times. I read it now. Everyone has a dark side, strange side. Back in Victorian times, when the streets were cobbles and so were the women, there were tales told of an abominable crime. Who will ever forget the butcher of Whitechapel? A kind and friendly man who used to sell a very nice range of meat and poultry. Not to be confused by the greengrocer of Whitechapel, who bludgeoned 37 people to death with half a cabbage. Our tale this evening, however, concerns Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Now, Dr. Jekyll was a very timid man. He was timid. He had to stand on tiptoe to speak above a whisper. But he was also a very clever scientist. It was his idea to cut the front out of a balaclava. He invented skin for the top of custard. But this evening, however, he was working on something far more deadly. He'd been working on a potion. Not a calming lotion potion, but a changing person potion. And he was about to try it on himself. He stands behind his desk, his beaker in his hand. He drinks the contents. His hands go to his throat, his face contorts. God, he'd forgotten the sugar. He collapses behind his desk and awakens moments later. He can't feel his tongue. Then he realises he's got his hand in somebody else's mouth. He gets up and goes to the mirror. He can't believe what he sees. Wild hair, bulging eyes, protruding teeth. He grabs his pen and writes, "Remember to book 2 seats for the Ken Dodd show." He comes away from the mirror, puts on his top hat, fixes his dicky, straightens his tie, and then goes out into the night as Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde, a despicable man, He used to tainted women. Or he was evil. He used to put conker shells under apple trees to confuse small children. He used to put 3 shredded wheat in his bowl, but only eat 2. He was always taking out bunches of celery so he could stalk people. He was mean. He wouldn't even do his first Rolo. He was mean. And he was twisted. He was so twisted he had to screw his socks on. He wasn't only a madman, he was rude as well. He used to leap out of dark doorways and ignore you. But there was only one man who could stop him now. Only one man. And there he stood in the doorway of the local police station. The unmistakable shape of Paganini. Sorry, page 9. Oh, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and good night.